Hi, Caitlin, it's Steph. I'm kind of surprised that you haven't wanted to do a video series about this recently, but I'm gonna with like everything that's been happening in the world, like, both natural and unnatural, and yeah, so I'm gonna talk about race. Yeah. I just had a very recent situation at work I'm not really going to go into that had to do with the police and me and one other person at my work are the only white people that actually work there. There was a there was a situation that I'm really not going to go into the details, but we had somebody that had worked for us quit. She was white, and a family member came up and was threatening my boss and talking to the crew very negatively, and the police took his side. We suspect race, but I mean, we can never be 100% sure, but we suspect race. And that like kind of ties into thinking about all the tragedies that have happened lately: Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, Hurricane H, and the hurricane that just the hurricanes in Texas, Florida, and Puerto Rico, and then also the Las Vegas shooting. I Did you notice that there was a lot more coverage on the Texas and Florida hurricanes and on the Vegas shooting than there ever was on Puerto Rico? Like, I mean, I'm not like like I mean, I know there's still people talking about it and stuff, but and the president has said something about it, but there seems to be a lot more like there seems to be a lot more effort and aid going into all the victims of the Central America than there have been in Puerto Rico, which again is American territory, and we actually own that. It's not a state, but you know, we don't have 51 states yet. It was their choice, and apparently, Jessie, her parents are doing a class in Puerto Rico, and apparently, it's still a hotly debated topic over there about whether or not to become the a state, the 51st state. So, I mean, there's been just so much like relief efforts for Hurricane Harvey in Texas and stuff. Like, you see it on YouTube, you see it everywhere, and you see it on you see like relief efforts in Florida and everywhere, but you don't really see it in Puerto Rico. I mean, it could be like we're just not covering it as much, which, and again, is still, I don't feel that that's right, you know? I mean, it's just, it's hard not to think of the race card in situations like that, where, like, okay, like maybe they're getting the same amount of efforts. Maybe let's just like believe in fairy tales for a second and believe they're getting the same amount of relief as Texas and Florida. They're still not covering it. Like, that's still like, it's not like, do they not want to show that they're being helped, or do like I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning will be like, if there is any real good reason for not showing this or not talking about it. Because in my mind, it's like, wouldn't you want to like show any and all relief efforts that are going on over there? I mean, because you were certainly fine to talk about with Texas and Florida and doing all these things in order to, like, all these things and all these drives and all these organizations in order to help with this. And the Las Vegas shooting that just occurred, there was like one backlash by CNN about how the majority of country fans are Trump supporters, which is not true, actually. But like the majority of Trump supporters are country fans or something like that. I don't know. It's not true. There is a lot of crossover, but that is not true. But CNN basically said that they had it coming because of that. That's the only real like backlash I saw of the Las Vegas shooting. But like there seems to be a lot more for Puerto Rico. Like that they're lying about the relief efforts, that, you know, they're actually getting, you know, relief, or just not talking about it or whatever. I don't know exactly what it is about that, but it's just really hard not to like think of the race card in there, because it's just, there's really no other explanation. I mean, I would love for there to be some other explanation, maybe, and like I fully believe that they aren't getting the same support that we gave these other peoples. I mean, I just heard on the radio that that the radio station that I was listening to was doing a blood drive specifically for the Las Vegas victims, and I get it that there is, you know, there are people that need blood transfusions, there are people that need blood, and then you add a disaster like the shooting to that number, and suddenly there's an influx of blood supply that people need blood, and then suddenly there's not enough blood in the blood bank to get it, and so they need all kinds, and I get that, but like even with like I don't even know, like I'm not exactly sure like where to come down on it or what I even really want to say, but it's sad. I mean, I guess that's what I want to say. It's sad. It makes me sick that like, we still can't like get over this. I mean, it's, racism will never be completely eradicated. I fully believe that. Racism will never be fully eradicated. Just because there will always be some people that still believe that. And, like, there are people that say, oh, I teach my kids not to look at race. Well, no, you're teaching your kids to look at race because kids don't naturally look at race. You know, they don't, like, naturally see that. And so you saying that you're teaching your kid not to like notice race or whatever, or, you know, or not to treat people differently, that's because they saw you do it, and you are leading by example, and you are the ones that are showing them that this is acceptable behavior, and then you're trying to teach them that it's not acceptable behavior when you're doing it yourself. And I get that, you know, people want better for their kids and their kids to be more accepting and be, and you know, you want the best for your kids. I get that. But at the same time, it's, why don't you just not teach them to look at that in the first place? And I know that there's a whole nature versus nurture thing and stuff going on, and that the parents aren't the only learning agents. There's also school and whatever, but and other people too. But like, you train your kid, Like, that phrase just bothers me, training your kid not to notice race, because no, you're training your kid to notice race, and then you're trying to backpedal and train them out of it. That's what you're trying to do. And especially with coverages like this, where it's very, like, one-sided. I get that, you know, you want to protect, you know, your country, which is understandable. But Puerto Rico is technically part of us too. I mean, it's not like, it's not a state. It's not, you know, it's way dang closer than Hawaii is though. And yeah. And there's also the whole thing about the Las Vegas shooting that people are saying that it's the biggest shooting or biggest mass murder or something in American history, which isn't true. It's honestly, it's not true. You just have to look at like the founding of the colonies to know that that's not true. And so it just, you know, you can't help but think about race as the major factor in that. And like, I mean, my heart still goes out to the victims of the shooting and stuff like that. Nobody should ever have to deal with that. Like, nobody should ever have to feel fear going to something they love or doing something they love and have to worry about their own life. That's just not, like, but that's just the thing. Nobody should have to. Nobody should have to ever feel like, you know, they go to sleep and they won't wake up. Nobody should ever have to feel like they go to a cop and they won't help them out if they call the police. Nobody, and instead blame them for the situation that they called on. Nobody should have to feel like nobody is there. And to me, that doesn't matter, you know, what color your skin is or what's between your legs. It's, you know, nobody should have to feel like that. Nobody whatsoever. Nobody should have to feel like they are the reason that a tragedy happened. Nobody should ever have to feel like everything would be better if they weren't there. You know? And rather than doing that, just knowing that we're all people, we all bleed red, and going and helping, and not sit and think about who exactly we're helping, but just know that we are humans and that we're all fellow humans and we're helping each other. And like something like race or gender or sexuality shouldn't separate us from doing that. Because in the end of the day, we all bleed red, and, you know, we all sit down and we take a shit. I mean, okay, I shouldn't have said that. But, you know what I mean? Like, you know, strip everything else away. We're all the same, you know? And it just, I don't understand how people can, like, sit and choose. I really don't. But yeah, that's kind of, like, my rant, I guess, for the day. It's very, very subdued rant, but, it is nonetheless. And Caitlin, I know you know what I'm talking about with the whole thing, but I was gonna go into it, but I just feel like it's better not to add, you know, gasoline to the fire. So it's, yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I've been kind of trying to do like more, like trying to do some more serious vlogs, but trying to also get comfortable talking from the camera. I've done some stuff on my own channel that is separate from this, but and the camping videos, I don't know exactly what happened with that. I guess I was the one that was uploading them. I guess I just kind of lost track of time or whatever. So once I figure out which ones that we have yet to upload still, I'll upload the remainder of that. I think there are only like 3 or 4 more. But yeah, we'll figure those out. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get on there. So yeah, next one will be about religion or adoption. You know, I don't know, Caitlin, maybe you can talk about politics some. Maybe a YouTube channel isn't the best way to do this. Maybe podcast. I don't know. But guess we'll figure it out as we go along. Alrighty. Talk to you later. Bye.